Once we have information on the map, a very common thing we need to do first is change the symbology so we can better understand the information we're mapping. Coming over here, we see the canvas is light gray, and that's our background, and the markets is our point coverage that we're mapping. Here we can hover over the individual icons, and as we hover over them, we get a little hint as to what these icons represent or they can do for us. We can show the tables, we can look at the legends, change the style of the symbology of our layers, perform some filtering, and perform analysis. And if you haven't found exactly what you need in these shortcut icons, you can come over here to the three dots and hit the More options, and you have a more comprehensive list. So the first thing we want to do here is click on Change Symbols, Change Styles. Right now we're just showing the location of this data. We don't know anything more about this red dot other than that there is a market here. So what I'd like to do is map these data by the type of market. So the three types of markets we have in this example data are hookah lounges, gas stations, and smoke shops. And ArcGIS Online has gone ahead and assigned different symbology for each of those. So now when we look at the map, we can see a distribution of where these different types of markets are. Well, that's a good start, but I want to know a little bit more. So I'm going to click Options, and I can see my count. So of my 25 stores, I know that 10 are hookah lounges, 9 are gas stations, and 6 are smoke shops. Okay, well that's helpful to know. Now, I really want to focus on the gas stations. So I'm going to change their symbol. And I can click on this symbol, and I have options for the way the symbol looks. So the first thing I want to point out is that you have several different cartographic sets available to you for your symbology. I happen to pick the National Park Service set. We're going to give it a moment to populate here, and you'll see you have a whole different kind of cartographic symbol set available to you. So as time allows, you might want to go through and see which of these make sense for some of the kinds of data that you'll be mapping. I have the choice to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. I want a nice big red pointer there. So I'll say OK. And now you can see the gas station is the red pointer. We also have the ability to control the transparency of some of the larger filled symbols. We can rotate these symbols if we want. And this is an important option down here, the visibility range of your symbols. So right now, if I were out at a county scale, my symbols wouldn't show. So let's do that. Let's zoom out a bit. They're still showing, they're still showing. Okay, now they're no longer showing. If you'll notice, the black triangle points at what scale this map is displaying at. So basically you have the ability to have your information become visible only when it's most appropriate. So by clicking on here, I have an idea and some guidelines of how the scales relate to the visibility ranges. If you have very dense data, if you are mapping every pothole or every manhole in a municipal area, you probably don't want that to show at a county scaled map, or it would just look like a mess of dots everywhere. But if you have information that is very sparse, it would make sense to show it at a smaller scale, which is a larger area. So using the visibility range, you can take control over the appropriateness of displaying your information. So we'll zoom back in, and our data will then show up. And I can just drag my map to see the whole extent of my data. Okay, and then when I'm done making my changes, I'll just hit OK. And then I have a few more options here for other things I might want to change, but I'm done for now, so I'll click Done. And you see the changes are reflected in the legend as well as in the map. If we click the Legend button, we have just the legend and the headers. So for right now, I'm happy with this, and I might want to change my base map before I print this or save this to share to a streets view. So I have the ability to change it, and I may want to zoom in on a particular area I'm most interested in. So I hold down my Shift button and zoom in, and I might even want to see what an aerial image would look like for this area. Okay, so now I have a few things mapped right where I'm interested in them. I can switch back to a different base map until I'm happy with my map. And now I want to save and share my map. So first I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it as, and we have another quick form to fill out. This is going to be the market training map. And it gives me the chance to put it in a particular folder, and I'd like to leave it in training folder. Click Save Map, and then maybe I want to share this map. I want someone else to be able to review it and look at my work. So I'm going to click National University and save it with my organization. Now it says all the layers in this web map may not be visible. So do I want to make sure that all the layers in this map can be seen by everyone I'm sharing the map with? And I'm going to update sharing and say yes. Okay, now you may notice that we have a link. So up here is a rather lengthy URL at the top of my map browser. But here, if I decide I can copy this link and put it in an email or embed it in a web page, and I'll be able to share my map via this URL. And we'll say done. Now, if I come here to the top left, next to home I've got a gray chevron. I can click My Content. Give it a moment. It'll take us back to the My Content page, and then we're going to go to the training folder. Okay, so now I've got the original CSV file with the market data that I imported. I've got the feature layer that I created, and now I have a new item. I've got a web map, and that web map is what we just saved and shared. So now you've done some mapping, and you've changed your symbology around, and you've saved and shared your map. Well done.